Once upon a time, in a beautiful green meadow, there were 3 little pigs who lived with their mother in a cozy little cottage. The 3 pigs, named Percy, Peter, and Penny, had always been very happy living in their mother's care. But as they grew older, their mother decided that it was time for them to go out into the world and build their own homes. "You are all old enough now to live on your own," said their mother, "but remember, my little ones, there's a big, bad wolf that roams these parts. He's clever and strong, and he might try to trick you. Be very careful, and always choose wisely when building your houses." The 3 pigs promised to be careful and set off on their separate paths to build their new homes. They waved goodbye to their mother, who reminded them once again about the big bad wolf and wished them luck. Percy's straw house. Percy, the youngest and most impatient pig, was in a hurry to finish building his house so he could play and enjoy life. As he walked through the meadow, he saw a big field of soft, dry straw. It seemed perfect for his new home. "This will be quick and easy," Percy thought to himself, feeling excited. He quickly gathered as much straw as he could carry and started building. With each bundle of straw, he built the walls of his house, and in no time at all, Percy's new house was ready. "That was fast," Percy said with a proud grin. "Now I can relax and enjoy the rest of my day." He didn't worry too much about the strength of his house, because it was so light and airy. Percy thought the big bad wolf would never bother him. After all, he reasoned, a little wolf wouldn't dare try to blow this house down. It's just made of straw. As Percy finished building, he lay down in his comfy new home and began to nap, enjoying the soft rustling of the wind and the warm sunshine. But unbeknownst to Percy, the big bad wolf had been lurking nearby, watching him from the shadows. The wolf was always looking for a tasty meal, and when he saw Percy's house of straw, he grinned wickedly. The big bad wolf's visit. That evening, as the sun began to set, a gust of wind blew through the trees, and the big bad wolf appeared at the door of Percy's house. With his sharp teeth and hungry eyes, the wolf knocked on the door with a loud bang. Little pig, let me come in," the wolf called, his voice deep and growling. Percy's heart raced when he heard the wolf's voice. He knew exactly who it was and remembered his mother's warning. But Percy was quick thinking. He peeked out from the window and shouted, "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." The big bad wolf sneered and growled, "Then I'll huff and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down." And with that, the wolf took a deep breath and blew with all his might. Percy's house of straw shook and trembled, and with one mighty puff, the whole house was blown away, leaving only a pile of scattered straw on the ground. Percy screamed and ran as fast as he could, his little legs pumping with fear. "I've got to get to Peter's house," Percy thought as he sprinted toward the next pig's house. The big bad wolf, licking his lips, began to chase Percy, but the quick little pig was already too far ahead. Peter's stick house. Peter, the middle pig, had a different idea when it came to building his house. He was a little more thoughtful than Percy, and although he didn't want to spend too much time building, he decided that sticks would be a better choice than straw. They were stronger and would offer more protection against the big bad wolf. Peter spent the whole afternoon gathering sticks from the nearby woods. When he finally had enough, he began to build his house, carefully stacking the sticks one by one. It took a little longer than Percy's straw house, but Peter was satisfied with the result. "It's not as fast as Percy's, but it will keep me safe from the big bad wolf," Peter said, admiring his work. The stick house stood tall and sturdy, and Peter felt confident that it would keep the wolf out if he came. As Peter finished the last few touches on his house, he heard a faint noise in the distance. Percy, looking exhausted, appeared in front of Peter's door, panting and out of breath. "The big bad wolf. He blew my house away," Percy cried. "Please, let me in." Peter opened the door wide and let Percy in. The 2 pigs huddled together inside the stick house, listening as the wind started to howl outside. But soon, they heard another sound, a loud knock on the door. The big bad wolf stood there, his eyes gleaming with hunger. Little pigs, let me come in," the wolf demanded, his voice low and threatening. "Not by the hair of our chins," both pigs cried in unison, remembering their mother's warning. The wolf grinned. "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down." And he did just that. The wolf huffed and puffed with all his might, sending a gust of air that made the stick house shake. With one final breath, the wolf blew so hard that the house of sticks collapsed, sending sticks flying everywhere. The two pigs, frightened and quick-thinking, dashed out of the wreckage and ran as fast as they could toward Penny's brick house. Penny's brick house. Penny, the oldest and wisest of the three little pigs, had taken her time building her house. She knew that the big bad wolf was strong and clever, so she decided to build her house out of bricks, a material much sturdier than straw or sticks. Penny carefully laid each brick, ensuring that the walls would be strong enough to withstand any wolf's huff and puff. When Penny's brick house was finally finished, she stood back and smiled, proud of her hard work. The house was tall and strong, with a sturdy roof and a warm fireplace inside. Penny felt safe and secure in her new home, and she didn't worry about the wolf at all. As soon as Percy and Peter arrived, out of breath and terrified, Penny quickly let them inside and locked the door. "The big bad wolf is after us," Percy said, his eyes wide with fear. "We're safe here," Penny said calmly. "I've built a house that's strong enough to keep us safe. We don't need to worry anymore." But as the wind howled outside and the moon rose high in the sky, the big bad wolf appeared at the edge of the yard. His eyes glinted with greed as he approached the brick house. He knocked loudly on the door. Little pigs, let me come in," he called in his most menacing voice. "Not by the hair of our chins," the three pigs replied together, standing strong and fearless. The wolf growled and showed his sharp teeth. "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down." With a deep breath, the wolf huffed and puffed with all his might. But no matter how hard the wolf blew, the brick house didn't move an inch. The wolf tried again and again, huffing and puffing with all his strength, but the house stayed firm and strong. The wolf was getting desperate. He had failed to blow the house down, so he decided to try another way. He climbed up to the roof, thinking he could sneak in through the chimney. The pigs, however, were clever. Penny had already started a warm fire in the fireplace, and the chimney was hot and filled with smoke. The wolf crawled down the chimney, but as soon as he did, he landed right in the fireplace. The pigs jumped back as the wolf yelped in pain and shot back up the chimney. With a singed tail and a howl of defeat, the big bad wolf ran off into the forest, never to bother the pigs again. The pigs' happy ending. The three little pigs cheered and hugged each other. They had defeated the big bad wolf. They had learned an important lesson. Hard work, careful planning, and making the right choices were the keys to safety and success. Penny smiled at her two brothers. "See, we're safe now. I'm glad I took the time to build my brick house. And you too learned how important it is to build something strong. We'll always be safe here." The three little pigs lived happily ever after in their sturdy brick house, and from that day forward, the big bad wolf never dared to come near them again.